Greetings, peace, everybody. Welcome to Community Radio. I'm your host, Kim, and today is Thursday. So, before we get started, I just wanted to remind you all that if you would like to sign up for the men's group that has been put together, and I think they meet next strong. So you can, if you'd like to be a part of that, you can go to anewlifeglobal.org and register. And if you'd like to be a part of the Monday's call that the women have, you can also go to the same website to register. Just let us know what you want to be a part of. For classes, you can go to seduluhouse.com. All right. So today's Thursday, and again, this is an open show. There's no set topic. So if you have anything that's on your mind or anything that you would like to talk about, feel free to bring it up. Just dial 347-945-7680 and press the number 1, and I'll make sure I'll get you in. The number will change on December 1st of next month. Well, on December 1st. That number will be 515-605-9862. So make sure you make a note of it. The old number will no longer be active. So on Tuesday, we were talking about women need love. And we only got one woman on that call, which was interesting because before when we've tried to split up the conversation so the women could have their say and the men could have their say, the only response we got was from the men, really. So we are still talking about relationships and the discord between relationships and why. This all came from a discussion we had on Nate Parker and just dating outside of the race, and that led us into a talk about American culture and how it affects our relationships. So today, again, we're going to talk about what the men need. So on Tuesday, we talked about what women need, which was love, and this comes from something that I've heard Chief say, and I've read in other places where they say that women need love, men need respect. And so today we're going to talk about the respect since the women didn't have much to say on Tuesday. So this is an area that I would definitely prefer the men speak about because I'm not a man. And tell me if you call in, tell me why you feel like men need respect. Why is this a need? It's not a desire. It's not a want. It's a need. And so I've been doing a little bit of research on it. And I shared a list with you all. I think it was on a show maybe a couple of strongs ago about a list of things that were disrespectful to a man that maybe women were not aware of. And we talked about that in Monday's group as well. So there are several things that were on that list that women may do that they're not aware of that's disrespectful to a man. But more importantly, I don't think that women understand how much respect is needed for a man or why. And again, like I said, I'm not a man, so this is not something that I really have, that I can really say that I need, because they say women need love. So if a man wants to call in, again, the number is 347-945-7680. Just press the number 1, all right? So I'll share a few things that was on that list that I shared a couple of strongs ago. And, before I get to the list, one other thing I wanted to say about this is, or wanted to ask about this, and this is to the men, earned? Do you have to demonstrate something to get respect, or is respect just given? All right. So I know we've had a few conversations in the women's group and on the show where women will say that, they try to be that feminine energy and step aside and allow the man to lead and all these things, and he doesn't step up to do it. And so it's like some of the complaints where they find it hard to show respect because they're not doing things that would make a woman want to respect them. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, so does a man just automatically get respect, or is it something that has to be earned? Okay, so that's a quick question I had about that, but let me go over the list really quick. So one of the few of the things that were on this list, and this comes from a website again, from a Christian perspective, which is interesting because you would think that since we're all about male and females, and we're gods and goddesses and Orisha and all this, that this would be something that was heavily discussed in the so-called conscious circle. But all of the information I'm finding on this particular topic is coming from a Christian perspective, which is what I find interesting. So this is not something that's necessarily developed in the conscious community. But anyway, this list starts with implying he's not intelligent, capable, or competent, implying he's not enough for you sexually, implying he's not providing enough for you financially, implying that you are superior to him morally and spiritually, and displaying contempt for who he is as a man, and that means like not accepting him as he is, telling him what to do or bossing him, taking control of the marriage/family and not allowing him to fulfill his leadership position, making fun of him, putting him down, criticizing him, belittling him, especially to others, body language that communicates contempt, hatred, or judgment, implying that you respect another man more than you respect him, implying that he's not a good father, and undermining his authority as a father. Okay? So those are just a few things on that list. And of course, if you are in a relationship, different things, each man has a different list. So this is really something that you would probably need to discuss with your mate or your spouse to find out what is disrespectful and what is not disrespectful. So again, this today we're talking about it from the man's perspective, and on Tuesday we tried to talk about it from the woman's perspective, because another article that I had read, of course, this is all in the scope of men need respect, women need love. And so in this article, he was saying that when one of the people involved don't feel like they're getting what they need, then that's what tears the relationship apart. It's not, and he said that this is always the underlying reasons for everything, for cheating, for, financial, not handling financial things properly, everything. It boils down to respect and love. So he said that when a woman's not feeling loved, she can't give respect. And then when a man is not feeling respected, he can't give love. So it's like you just end up in this, endless cycle of, just kind of back and forth. And then as all these things are happening, the relationship is falling apart. And so this is one of the main reasons for divorce or breakups, is that one of the people involved just feel like they're not getting what they need, and that boils down to respect and love. So again, I will ask the men to speak up, because I'm not a man, and this is something that you all can speak on. Excuse me, I think I'm having some blog talk issues. I'm sorry. Okay. So this is something that I feel like the men should speak on more so than the women. And so today is your day. I'm going to go to a quick commercial, and then I will be right back. All right. Greetings, 813. Can you hear me?
Greetings, yes.
Please.
How you doing, Kim? How's
I'm
everything
well.
going?
How are you? Fine. How are you?
You said you asked a question earlier about if a man should be given respect automatically.
Right.
And my answer to that is that respect should be seen automatically. So whether it's the physical, whether it's the mental, whether it's the spiritual, that respect should be there. If you're picking out a man for your relationship, so that's how I look at it. Like I'm gonna see the love when I see my woman, and I'm gonna see the love in all three aspects: the mental, physical, and the spiritual. So that would be my perfect mate, is when I see love in all three categories. So, just to add to it, or just to say my part on it, I think that is not a earned thing. I think that's a personal gain, a personal struggle that we as individuals have to do, male and female, building those connections and mechanisms that we need to attract that perfect mate. And the decisions that we make, like we've made, and that's how I feel now. Now, I'm 39, 2 kids, 2 different mothers. I have made bad mistakes. I've had to learn. There had been a learning process for me to find this. And I think as these shows have been going, we've been speaking about a lot of jewels, a lot of good information and the tools that we can use to fix our relationships, or even find the right one. So that's all I would say about the respect issue. And yes, men, real men, not boys, they'll show you respect. They'll show you just by our action.
Why do men need it? Why is it a necessity, a need?
I believe, for me, and for me, if I walk through the house and have respect, everybody's going to know how the reason why I respect it. So men need it not only from the family to acknowledge it, especially their family, their close family do acknowledge it, but we also have to feel it within ourselves to make sure that we are operating at the highest task for our family. So the respect when inside of that family, when you walk through, come into the house, or you're with your family, the respect that is given to them, you know that they have a high vibrational value to you. Just like Brother Zach released vibrations values video yesterday, and it hit me good because that made me think about what is respect for me. And excuse me one second. I'm eating while I'm on the phone on the radio. But the value system for me, how he was really breaking it down, it's like we have to really recognize what we put our values in now. Is it the same that we had 10 years ago? Is it the same process that brought us to the bad decision making that we did now, that we have now, the things that we're trying to solve now? So why are we still valuing those things? Why are we still putting our energy into doing those things? And as a matter of respect for male, and maybe we can do this both male and female, but I would say for males, is that once you find your value system, once you find your goal, your target, your projection, your expansion, your direction, your strategy, and you're moving forward, then it's time to that's the time that you're going to feel the most of your respect for yourself, because you're going to be doing things. And that's where I'm at now. Like this whole day, this whole weekend I got planned out on a lot of good things to prepare myself for my next couple of weeks. It's going to be awesome. So But and I'll post some pictures as I go. But
Okay.
I think the respect is going to be made from the man because he's going to respect what he's doing. He's going to respect his mission, and that respect when we walk through the door in our family, with our loved ones, our girlfriend, our wife, when they see us, the thing that we want to see is that sparkle in the eye because they know that this is a respectful man. I'm not going to disrespect this person, disrespect in any way, and that gives us more power.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
And
all
once
right.
again,
go ahead.
There's a couple things like power is something that men are always looking for. So when they see that you have respect for them, and it's funny how this goes because you talk about the gangbangers and people respecting them because they're doing crime and stuff like that. You feel me? And they're murderers or whatever, and people respect them in that aspect. But when you have a man that's handling all the business, handling all the provisions, handling everything with the children, being there supportive with the kids, making sure that his wife is excited, constantly excited. He's on his job. You understand? He's on his job to make his happiness and his life good. And you see that, that's when it all means something. That's where the real respect is. You know he's not backing down. He's a brick wall. He's a brick wall for your family, the protector of your family. You know those things.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna bring in another caller real quick. This is 904. I'm not gonna mute you, Anwar, so you can just mute your end and come in whenever you like.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to take a couple of drinks of this coffee and a couple.
Okay. 904.
Peace, sister. How you doing, Queen? This is
Tareen
once again. Brother Anwar, how you doing, brother?
Good. Got a mouthful of food and some coffee in my mouth. I'm good.
That's good, man. I got to get your number, man, because I misplaced it the last time you gave it to me. But I just wanted to just basically put a thought in the air. Do you think, because I know sometimes Chief Yuya, when he explains different things, he sometimes go to the Bible, and just to help further, I guess, help people that's sick that don't understand, help them to understand, different, things, and we revere the Bible so much, so he uses the Bible sometimes. Just to, help us to further understand things. And I just wanted to build on that by saying in the Bible it says women respect your husbands, husbands love your wives, or some, to that effect or whatnot. So I just wanted to ask, like, do you think that respect for a man, when a woman respects her man, that's the type of love that we need to keep thriving? Like we probably don't need the I ain't gonna say don't need, but I'm gonna just say the love that we have to give to our woman, long as she respect us, I feel like that's her giving us the power to grow our kingdom, or to expand our kingdom or our power, further. You see what I'm saying? When you have a woman that's constantly encouraging and cheering for you, and respect and revere everything that you do or say, or and maybe not everything, but with different retrospects, but it's like, do you think that when a woman respects her man, that's the love that the man needs to further expand his love, his power, his provision over the relationship, over the woman, as far as like providing and everything that keeps a man going, so to speak. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. I'm not a man, so I can't really.
Yes, man. I was kind of asking Amwar. Yes, I understand, Kim, that I was just wondering, like, if that was, and if Chief is, on, maybe he can clarify, if I'm not saying it right or if I am saying it right. But I think that when a woman respects her man, that energy, that type of energy is important to a man in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? It helps us to grow, to expand, to basically expand our provision, our make us more masculine, I guess.
Okay.
I guess it's just like, with the earth, it makes the sun shine brighter. If you know what I'm saying, like, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? It just gives more power to the love that we have for the woman in turn. When the woman respects her man, that makes the man want to love her more.
Okay.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're talking about men and respect. And so when we left off, Brother Tareen was giving us a breakdown. I want to mute you just for a second, Anwar. Brother Anwar. Okay, that wasn't Anwar. Okay, I'm hearing some background noise. Brother Anwar was giving us some information about how he felt respect was shown. And I wanted to ask you, Tareen, if he's still there. Yeah.
I'm still here, sister.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, do you feel like respect is something that is automatically given? Should it just automatically be given to the man?
Well, I think that when it comes to the dynamic of a man and a woman, if a woman, chooses her mate, then she should automatically, respect the man that she chose to, be with or to, give herself to or to give her time and attention to or, whatnot. And with the dynamics of dealing with a man and a man, like two men, I think respect is earned. Like, because, a man doesn't owe another man anything. You know what I'm saying? And they have to earn that respect between each other in order to, have that certain type of, trust or whatnot. But I just feel like with a woman, when it comes to a woman, if she chooses this man to be in her life and to, to be there automatically, I feel like she should garner or revere, some type of, some amount of respect for that man that she chose to, give her or part of her life to,
Okay. Let me ask you this: what is your number one? What is the one way that a woman can show disrespect in a relationship? Or one or two, just of like on your list. What are the top two?
Well, I mean, the smallest. It's the smallest form of disrespect. Like when I feel like, when a woman, she takes like subtle shots at your dreams, your goals, or things like when you're trying to build with somebody and you're talking to them and they're you're saying, okay, maybe for example you say baby, I think I want to be a painter. I think I want to do art, like, and then she just automatically like, art? Like, you can't even draw a full 360-degree circle. What are you talking about, art? Like, she just basically kills that small or that drive that's in you, then I feel like that's disrespect. Without even, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a form of disrespect. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
without even, you know, saying. Of course, you know, getting loud with your man in public
Mm-hmm.
instead of, you know, waiting until you get home in the privacy of your own home. That's,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just ultimate forms of disrespect. Like, because you put a man in a corner to where, you know, he can't do nothing, and you exercise this small little temporary power because you
Mm-hmm.
know he's not going to do nothing, you
Okay.
know, because he don't want to go to jail and, you know, stuff like
Right.
that. So that's another, you know, form of disrespect. But I think disrespect starts in levels, and, you know, some Americanized women, they try you on those different levels of disrespect to see how far they can take it
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
with you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I
Anwar,
think.
what do you think? Let me see if I can bring him back in.
Yeah,
Are
I'm
you
here.
there, Anwar?
Greetings.
Okay.
Yes.
What are
Yes,
your
yes.
top two? What are your top two things on your list?
When Brother Tareem, before we got off on the first part, he was speaking on the earning of respect,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to disagree with that. The earning
Okay.
the earning of respect comes internally. The male that me as a man, I have to make sure that I am doing everything in respect. Because I have to see the light. I'm the light bringer, so I have to see the light before it happens. So once again, it's the decisions that are made from the male that makes that woman see that respect.
Mm-hmm.
To add on, the other part is, yes, men compete constantly to earn respect, because that's how we sharpen our blades, by us competing. And we have to step in there. But there's a responsibility for men that have higher wisdoms and higher knowledge, higher thinking, and a responsibility for the ones that don't have that type of thinking just yet, that we need to give and receive. Meaning, if the male with the higher wisdom, higher respect has to give a certain respect to the other male, because the male needs to learn, and that's how,
Mm-hmm.
as light bringers, that's how we are supposed to communicate. Without these physical hatred, all this stuff, we can box something out and keep moving. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing about men when we get together and we're building together, real men. And some of the things that I would probably be annoyed at or find as a form of disrespect would literally just be to not include me as the main outlet of what we're trying to do as a unit. And that's saying a lot, and I'll try to give you an example of where, let's say, let's bring back the car example. The sister that was speaking the other day had buying a car.
Okay.
Let's say if she went to go buy the car, and she bought the car, might have been paid for cash, but did not consult me. You know, let's take that example. That is disrespectful completely. The tone, once again, another thing would be tone. The tone that we have is very disrespectful. The greetings and the way we correspond and have communication, if it's not in a tone where it's like you're not only talking to somebody that you respect, but you're talking to somebody that you have real feelings for. So once you have stepped over the lines of not talking to this person in a loving way, or a way that expresses that you have a strong commitment to that person, that's disrespectful. You know, I would rather say somebody, just look, we're not here, I'm not respecting you right here. Can we talk this through? If we can't, let's find somebody else that we can get into a situation with. But working that through and learning from that position where both partners are giving and receiving and learning from each other because of the light and the dark intervention that's going on, the playing of those two energies. Yeah, that is good. And I don't think none of us are saying that we don't want to walk in and give you a big hug and a kiss, grab your butt or something. I think walking on the beach at moonlights is cool. I like that. We can have good conversations. Is that what we call romance? No, that's called me enjoying the quality time with somebody that I love and have feelings for. So I don't think we're only asking for just straight respect. Respect is the thing that needs to be there. Yes, but we're not leaving out that it's all respect and no love. We wouldn't be able to imagine the things and create the things that we do with our hands, feet, and shoulders and arms with our talents and do those things if it wasn't for the woman. So yeah, cool. I'm smiling ear to ear right now, but that's cool. All
right. Okay, so let me bring Tareen back in. You had a little background noise there, Tareen, so I muted you for a minute.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
No problem.
I was still trying to understand what Anwar was saying and in which ways that he disagreed with me as far as with the respect between two men. Which, with his statement, I believe we were in agreement with each other. I feel like you can't, as a man, you can't look at another male and automatically respect him unless you know he's worthy of that respect.
Yeah. Just to clarify.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just to clarify. Am I there? Am I here?
I hear you.
Just to clarify, I was disagreeing on the first part. I was disagreeing on the concept where we need to earn respect from our partner, from our female counterpart.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that, brother. I said that from our counterpart, if a woman chooses to be with this man, she should automatically give him some type of respect because that's I guess the natural order of things as far as when a woman chooses to be with a man, of course she should automatically give him some respect.
But the thing that I'm disagreeing about is it's not just an automatic feature of that. That's one part, but the woman needs to see that respect. She needs to see that light before she automatically says switch on respect. So that's where I'm more drawing into is that part where the male.
Well, maybe okay. Maybe she's gonna respect him before she chooses him anyway. Before she chooses to be with this man in a relationship, or she's gonna have some type of respect for him anyway, right?
I got you.
I mean, I don't see any woman. I don't see any woman that's gonna be in a relationship with a man that she don't respect automatically.
A true woman, and this is out of my experience, is that when a true woman sees someone to respect, she will allow that person. She will drop her head. She'll do some primordial movements that will allow you to go over there and have a conversation with this woman. And that's just like primal instincts. Men raise their heads, women drop their chins down chins down. They look down. They give you that submission. And that's really primal nature. Women that don't do that, that's the ones that you got to question. Because that's
automatic respect right there, right?
Correct, because they're seeing light before you even talk. And once you speak, you will confidently give her an acknowledgement that she was thinking clearly, and then she will open up to you. But that's my experience. That's just my experience, okay? And that is from speaking with a lot of women in my life. So
that's what I'm saying. Like we agree, man. We in agreement with each other because I feel like that's automatic respect that the woman gives a man that she chooses to be with or be around or to, be in a relationship with. Whereas with another man, he has his head up high too. He has his head up high too. He looks you in the eye too. You see what I'm saying? And that respect is gonna be earned instead of automatically given like it would be with a woman. That's all I was saying.
But the giving will be earned, and that's where what I was talking with the males, that a man is just not going to give his information and knowledge to somebody that doesn't even accept it nor needs it at this moment. They're going to give you the knowledge that you need for you to come to the next place. And if you end up going into a routine where you're shaping a male like a boy, they're going to need their space to get the information, soak it up, think about it, and then actually proceed with doing it. So, and that's my experience with my younger boys. You know what I'm saying? My younger boys are like that. So, So I just I like the fact that men they put their chest out. I like that because that makes me know that I'm gonna be a little bit more safer because I have somebody that's willing to put their chest out. When a male does not do that, that's the time where I would be like, I can't really put my essence into what we're doing here because this guy he acts shaky. He acts flimsy like a piece of he's soft like water. He's soft like water.
And again, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. I'm saying, like, when a man comes in contact with another man, they're basically filling each other out to see if they're deserving of each other's respect. Like, it's not really an automatic thing all the time upon introduction. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I agree with you on now. We're agreeing on this topic. This is the part where we're agreeing because two males is a different conversation. But,
from from a male and female, exactly.
Yeah. But going into the disrespect that we might have in a relationship with a woman and how she speaks to us and the tone that she holds and the outward just like not seeing you in the relationship and not doing things that's going to be to both of y'all benefits or acknowledged through the whole chain of command is disrespectful. The chain of command in my household comes from me to my wife to my kids.
Yeah, and that's cool. That's good, man. I was just trying to clarify based on what Sister Kim had asked me as far as like the difference between male and male and male and female. You know what I'm saying? Like I seriously, I believe that a woman, if she chooses to be in a relationship with this man, automatically she's gonna have to garner some type of respect for this man in order to, be in a relationship or cohabitate with this life partner or with this partner or whatnot. And see, with two males, it's different. It's not the same dynamic. We not, we gonna chop it up for a minute to see where we coming from before we can, show that respect that, that is earned between two men.
Mm-hmm. I think another just to add on to that is that when one of the things that we have, I think women really acknowledge this when we first meet, is that they already have a kind of idea of what they're willing to go through for this person that they just seen it for the first time. I think they have already got an intuition on that. So now men have to have an intent in that, and I think that's another issue that happens within the respect transference at that particular moment. If that makes sense, I'm not sure if I'm somewhere else thinking.
What do you mean men have to have an intent? Can you explain? An intent to do what?
Well, I think they have an intuition on where, like, if they have a male. They got a male that's coming up to them to talk. They've already given them the go ahead to come over and talk to him. I think the male They already have. Okay, let me see how far is this guy willing? Is this going to be the guy that's going to be able to take the family to a certain place? You know what I'm saying? Or build a family, build a nation, build a community, and so forth, so on. So I think women kind of already have that when they first agree to having a man speak to them.
I have to disagree.
You have to disagree?
I have to disagree, yes, sir. I have to disagree because I think, for the most part, women date the idea of a man instead of that particular man. Like, she has her ideas of what she wants this man to do, what she wants him to be like, and she falls in love with that fantasy instead of falling in love with the character or the essence of that man, per se.
Yeah.
That's why I believe, most women, feel hurt and deceived and, things like that when it comes to breaking up in a relationship, because they thought or they hope to change this man to be how they envision him to be, instead of accepting this man for who he really is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why we have these many conversations where, the women, stick with the man because she think that, her love can change him or, alter him of some sort. You know what I'm saying? And which, with a man, he doesn't change. It's like the sun, like it doesn't change. It is what it is. And that's what I believe. I believe that the women, Americanized women, they deal with the idea of what they want or what they thought this man should or has the potential to be or could be, instead of what he really is or what his thoughts is in life or what his goals are. I think that's kind of on the back burner to Americanized women to a certain degree. Right.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. You said it better than I did. That's what she did. You said it way better than I did. I agree, because you know what I was talking about was that intent, what you were saying about how the women already has this a mind state of what they want out of this man. So they're giving this agreement for this man to be here. And that's where a lot of the disrespect comes from, because the man wants to be a carpenter and the woman wanted to marry a lawyer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That conversation Chief had. So that's where it is too. Is that you have this. I have this dream. Me personally, I have this dream to build like some magnificent stuff out of wood. I love dealing with wood. So if the person I'm with wanted to be with the lawyer, and I'm sitting here trying to chisel some wood all the day, and she's just looking at me like, you're wasting time. You need to go do something. You know what I'm saying? You need to go read a book. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there trying to chisel some wood away. And the ability for me to manifest the most beautiful item that I could do is with my woman supporting that process. And I don't want to say it like this, but I guess this is a good way to say it, is that if we're the football team, you men out there playing football, and you're the cheerleaders, we need our cheerleaders. Cheerleaders are there for us. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch football and stuff like that, but it's just that's the way I can express it right there. We need a cheerleader. We really need a cheerleader also. We're going to stay determined to do something, but we want to be acknowledged for our work. We want to be praised. I guess to a certain degree, praised for everything that we do. So.
Okay. Let's see. I think Chief was trying to come in. Let me go to his call. Greetings. Chief? Chief, are you there? Okay, maybe I guess he's busy right now. He had his hand up for a minute there.
I heard that, yeah. The deep bass drum.
Yeah, so again, to everyone on the line, especially if you are a man, feel free to chime in. We're talking about men and respect, and is it something, why why is it needed? You know, on Tuesday we talked about the women's part where they say women need love and men need respect. And so I'm asking, why is this a necessity? Why is it a necessity, and is it automatically given, or does it have to be? Does something have to be done first? Okay, Chief is back now. Greetings.
Peace. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, peace. Greetings, Chief.
Okay, cool. Greetings, everybody. Yeah, so the subject.
Yeah, peace, Chief.
Men needing respect. Peace, Brother Turing. Yeah, men needing respect. It really deals with work assignment. And I know a lot of times when I speak about the defining of what a man is or what a woman is, we have to get away from job assignment. But when you speak about the underlying needs or the underlying wants of each assignment, usually it is based on some type of function that they need to carry out. So if you look at the word respect, I've defined it 100 million times. In fact, I defined it last show, Tuesday. But ultimately, it means to go back and look, or to look again. So the definitive implication of the word is that you're going back to look at the source. So what we're saying in the show, or I guess the question that's being put forth, is why do men need to be looked at again? Or why do men need to be looked at their source? Why is that the important thing? And I heard Brother Tareen earlier had mentioned a biblical scripture about women, I think women respecting their husbands or something like that. I think there's a couple of scriptures like that. And I know in Ephesians, the 5th chapter, you have women submit yourselves unto your husbands as unto the Lord. And then it just goes on to say that the husband, because the reason being because the husband is the head of the wife, just as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Well, if you perceive the man, if you have a family setting and you perceive the man being the head, then the woman is the church or the body. Okay, so the man is the head and the woman is the body. But what's I think important about that bit of I guess we'll call it wisdom. You have later on where it says, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. So the key thing there is that you got to remember that in order for the church to survive and live based on, again, the biblical mythology, Christ had to sacrifice or be sacrificed in order for that church to live. So when you talk about the role and the positioning of the man and why certain things are important, just understand that his role is a mortal one, and he may literally be called to sacrifice himself for his family physically, but in many instances you'll find with men that they are the first to sacrifice themselves emotionally and mentally for the family, the things that they want to do. When you even listen to some of the toast and whatnot at bachelor parties, a lot of the conversation is about what you'll no longer be able to do now that you're a married man, what you'll have to give up. Maybe you were a musician and now you have to come off the road, or you were an artist, but now you have to get a 9-to-5. All of these different things where you're actually sacrificing who you are for your family. And because now I've gotten kind of used to some of the ill thought, or really not even the conversations the comments that have been made with no thought behind them. Before you say, well, there's a lot of women out here who, most women sacrifice themselves for their husband. Most women throw away their dreams for their husband. There's a time where sometimes you have to learn that you're out of your depth, and the individuals who are speaking are teachers, and you might not be understanding everything that's being said as well as you think you do. So just sometimes that's where the respect comes in. Because again, if you see your man, who is also should be your teacher, if you see them as the source, you're looking again. Respect means to look back, or look back again and see the original. Look back to the origin, then you'll understand it as the source. Even just dealing with that, like the biblical mythology that Brother Tareen brought up, you'll see that the source meaning that he's the God. So he's the God of the family. Or really because it says it's Christ was to the church. So he's the gateway. He's the Eshu, the intercessor to the higher realms. So whatever he says, you have to trust is coming directly from the mouth of the supreme being. So just like you have Orumila, and with Orumila knows the mind and the destiny and the intentions of Oludumare and shares it through Ifa. So, that's why I always say to you guys that every man is the Babala of his own household. You see, so his woman being the body, he at any moment may have to totally give himself away for the liberty and the sustaining of the body. So the respect becomes critical because of his job. And the love, that she needs, the love, again, is the connectedness because she has to stay connected to the divine. So connectedness is the most important thing for her. But for him, the most important thing is that she respects and trusts him as a divine messenger, just as any Christ, Krishna, Dionysus, or any of those type of messianic figures are. Because I think it even says later on that, like it says, he is the savior of the body. So he is the Messiah of the woman. And I've said this before, but I've kind of said it in a coded way, that the answer, the Messiah for the melanin dominant community is the black man, or the melanin dominant man. And I know, people have different feelings about that, but again, people don't know as much as they pretend to, but they have a lot of emotion to share, and they are able to formulate misguided emotion into words. And social media gives everyone a platform. So now, they feel because if they can type it, it's put out there for the world, everybody can see it, it must be valid. And sometimes it's just the ranting of a child. So, I would, just to add on to it, and to kind of bring it into focus, the respect is necessary because of the function that the man has. And to even take it to a more bestial level, it's no different than when you look at Lion Kingdom and how the male lion at any given moment may be called to sacrifice and give his life to sustain and for the survival of the pride. That becomes very important. So again, the respect is necessary because if the male lion says we got to go this way, or this one can't be here, that one can't be here, then the pride has to respect that, he's putting his life on the line. So he can't have his orders questioned. He can't have you seeing him as anything other than the divine. I'll just add that.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Mm-hmm.
We have another caller on the line. This is 301. 301, you're on Community Radio.
Hi, how are you all doing today?
Greetings. How are you?
Well.
I'm well, thank you. I have a question. How does a woman respect her man when she knows that the things that he teaches to others, they trust in him and believe in him, but the things that she asks him and she already knows the answer before he says it and he lies to her? How can she then
how is he your
respect
man?
him?
How is he your man? This is kind of a loaded question, because just based on the definitions we gave you, that you can't respect that. So this is loaded.
Right.
Okay, so how is he your man? In order for him to be your man, you have to respect him. If you don't respect him, then he's not your man. So who are we talking about? A boyfriend? A friend?
We were talking about a boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's not your man. So the question is null and void. If he was your man, you would respect him. You can't have one without the other. Anyone outside of that is just a friend.
Wow. Understandable. Guess I got my answer. That was
Good.
quick. That was quick. Oh, this
Knock
is
it
going to
out
be
the
a
box.
very interesting.
Knock it out the box.
Yeah. This is going to be a very interesting day.
Oh, leave that man.
Okay.
All right,
no,
thank
no,
you.
no, no. I'm not going to say anything.
I'm just joking with you.
I greatly appreciate your quick honesty. I really do. I appreciate that.
No problem. I appreciate your respect.
Thank you. You all have a beautiful day.
You too, sis.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
Greetings.
So again.
Greetings.
Oh.
Can I chime in real quick?
Yes.
So I just wanted to it's so important, and I just want to add on to what Chief was saying. It was wonderful what he said, and it goes into the thought that you got to show them light. As men, we have to show light, and if they can't see the light, once again, you can't. They're not seeing you. So I just wanted to add that to the whole mix.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me see if Tareem is still on. Tareem, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Okay. All right. So did that answer your question or what Chief was bringing up about what was in the Bible? I know you mentioned the Bible.
Oh yeah, it did, man. I resonate with that a lot, and it answered my questions and everything.
Okay.
Mm.
All right,
I would say this too. Stop leaning on women for needs. You don't need anything from them.
Oh my God! Wow. Yeah.
The moment you start needing them, it's very unfair to a woman. Because you can't ask her to be docile and to be supple and to follow your lead, and then at the same time need her. That's very unfair. And I mean for anything. Need her for money, need her for sex, need her for a good home-cooked meal, anything. You should need her for nothing. Your entire pull towards her should be based on desire, because at the end of the day, she wants to be desired more than she wants to be needed. So, and the same thing with you. You want to be needed more than you want to be desired as a man. So you can't have it both ways. And again, I know the nature of the comments, and I know what comes next after this. No, we want to be needed. We want to be desired both. Why can't we have both? Again, like I said, these broadcasts, and this is our new teaching, is for different kinds of people. It's not for everybody. Okay. Yeah, that's Tareem. He's on the side of the highway or something there. But, so yeah, this teaching is not for everyone. And that's why you don't want to get into a whole lot of back and forth with individuals who are just playing with this. If you really want to raise up to the next level and achieve that inward development that you might be dreaming about or aspiring towards, then practice these things that I'm telling you. If you don't, and it's a joke, then you can sit and debate. But the thing is, I'm not going to debate with you. Like, I don't, none of this I have to prove. These are things I've known for over 20 years. So it's not like, I'm still testing theories. I have theories I'm testing, but these aren't them. These are tried and proven. But, yeah, man, when you start needing those women, when you look at that woman's eye, you say, I need you. She might say, I need you too, baby. And it might be a little sexy moment, and you might, have some good sex or whatever in the moment and come up with a little family plan. But she loses a morsel of respect for you in that very moment. No different than what an argument does between you and her. Some of you guys, you have arguments with your women. That's another really ridiculous thing to do, because if you're perceived as a divine and you're being respected, then what is there to argue about? And if you're the head of the family, what is there to argue about? So the moment you start arguing, well, we were yelling at each other, she was saying this, I was saying that, and she already knows that, you're not functioning in your role. You create more problems through argument. Your word should be law in the house. Whatever you say, that's it. There's no discussion after that. You can't be afraid to say it's my way or the highway. Either you do this or just get out. That's it. Or I'll get out. either one. Because if I am the Messiah, and I'm not just coming from the biblical reference, because these are old teachings. This is, the Bible didn't invent this stuff, But if I'm the Messiah of the family, if I'm the Savior of the family, if there was a reason why Asar was reassembled by Aset, not just because she wanted a night of passion to sleep with a ghost, because she knew Heru, the child that would be created, would be the redemption for the entire cosmos. So his presence is vital. That masculine presence is vital. But if you know that you're tapped into that divine in a way that only men can be tapped into as far as that knowledge, there's nothing at all to argue about. And the moment you argue, intimacy is lost. And every time intimacy is lost, you can still function. Because the truth is, a man can be everything he pretty much is going to be anyway without the intimacy. He can still have sex. He can still eat your food. He can still buy you gifts on your anniversary. He can get drunk with you, have fun and all of that. But a woman needs that intimacy, and she can feel the distancing, and she can feel when it's lost. So sometimes even in that, and I'm just saying for the men who are listening, we talk about needing respect. Sometimes you got to stop an argument for your woman's own good. Because, we're just like Tareen and Anwar just went off into that tangent back and forth. But they're still cool. They're actually probably cooler now than they were before, because they got to have a little tug of war for a moment. And men, that's how we are. That's what we enjoy, a quick chess game. Let's play chess real quick. And that we used to call those ciphers, Bill ciphers. We stand in a circle, everybody's giving it their, dropping their information, and you might say, hold on a second, and then the other person come in, now cipher, boom, 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 and you just going and going and going, and then that creates a camaraderie. But with women, it creates distancing, because now she sees herself as your opponent, your opposite. So sometimes you got to shut down those back and forths for her own benefit. She may not see, because women don't think as sequentially as men. They don't think 5, 10, 15 years into the future, like, listen, if we keep doing this, I'm not going to like you anymore, and I'm going to go and sleep with somebody else. She may not even be thinking about that, because she's wrapped up in the moment. And sometimes you got to pull back. Sometimes you got to give her space to let her hear herself. You don't always have to win everything right there in the moment. Sometimes when she's riffing, you just got to say, oh, no, stop. You know better than to talk to me like that. Matter of fact, we're going to stop talking. And she might, her waters are cool. She might go talk to one of her sister friends, and they might say, yeah, girl, I understand why you're upset, but you're not going to get anywhere with it like that. He's a man. You got to come at him like this or that, or just let it go. It's not even that deep. Sometimes they need that time, man, to save themselves. So sometimes you're allowing the disrespect because you can take it. You don't realize you're actually ruining your households.
That's some good words, Chief. That's some good words. You just reminded me that I'm gonna have to have this conversation with my 18-year-old. I gotta have this conversation. That's a conversation that needs to be had between father and son.
Yeah, for sure.
So we can build these boys the way they need to be. Appreciate it, I say.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That was much needed.
So you had a question earlier, Tareen, I heard.
Okay.
I didn't get all of the question though.
What it was talking about the thing with the respect between men and women.
I'm not sure. I just heard something like maybe Chief can chime in on this. I was working, so I didn't hear the full thing.
Okay.
Maybe Chief can give his position.
I think it was on the retrospect of how I asked that question. I think it was dealing with the respect between men and women, and it was saying I was asking, do you think that men that I forgot it. I
believe it was if respect was earned from a male and woman. I think that's what it was.
I thought it was if she respects you, will you love her more or something like that? You know,
Like,
if she shows you respect, will that make you love her more or something like that?
right, like with that, if like, because in the Bible it says, you know, women respect your husband and men, you know, love your wives or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well,
I was thinking, like,
think
is that
like
the
this.
balance? Is that the balance, Chief? Like,
Nah,
if the woman,
if that was the balance, naturally, then you would only have to say one of them. You'd only have to either say men love your wives, or you would only have to say women respect your husbands, because then the other one would come naturally. So obviously, for that to have to have been mentioned to those people at that time, which is, you know, again, that was in Ephesians. So, you know, and like I said, when you study, you always want to read and study the dispensation, study the time period and who's talking and who's being spoken to. You know, because sometimes that's just a issue that may be germane to a certain group of people. You know, so no, that's not necessarily the balance per se, because women also need respect or want respect, and men also want love. You know, but there is an interpretation of how we transcribe what respect is, how we perceive. You know, when men receive respect, we transcribe that as love. When women receive love, they transcribe that as respect. You know, so it's just really dealing with how our different our different psyches are functioning, and that's a problem. Matter of fact, there was a post put underneath one of my pictures in Instagram yesterday, I think, and a sister who listens to the segments and stuff. She had said something, but I made a point about what men look for, and you know, she said, well, that goes for both sides. And then I also remember another posting where I think it was on one of these shows where a sister had said, I think it was the first Men Need Respect, Women Need Love show, and there was a sister who put a comment and said, this doesn't make any sense, both need both. You know, again, when you lack that understanding, you know, you'll be quick to say certain things, because we could say everybody needs everything, you know, but that's that unisexualization, and that's what I had put in a comment today to the sister. And, you know, the sister's a supporter, so it wasn't no or anything like that. But that's a part of, like, that's a good example of sometimes the lack of respect that sometimes women don't perceive as being a lack of respect. You know, sometimes there are times where things are said that they kind of miss. You know, they don't realize, like, yeah, you know, that's not really what you say. You know, so matter of fact, and as I'm talking, I'm trying to pull up this image so I can share what happened. You know, what was said. Okay, so I had put up a little posting, and I just basically said I need a ride or die witch, right? Which is a statement I say to myself, and that's part of my internal dialogue all the time, you know. But I had put a little, I guess, caption, they call them, and I said, men, it's fine to fantasize about the type of woman you feel may help you achieve your aim, but pay close attention to the ones who consistently show up for you, the ones who are 10 toes down spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, and royally. Don't make the mistake of looking beyond the ones who are hoisting you into position with grace and devotion. And to all my light holders, I salute you. So the sister said, you know, this is true, Chief, but it goes both ways. A brother must also be willing to support the dreams of his queen wholeheartedly, but to a certain extent, needing to keep the right man in your life shouldn't be looked down upon, I feel, because none of us would enter into or sustain partnership if our better half didn't bring something or some things that we truly need to make our lives better on some level. So then I said to her in response, I said, when the, quote, it goes both ways, end quote, Western unisexualization imperative is introduced, standing is always sidetracked. You said this is what you, quote, feel, end quote, but also stated your, quote, feelings, end quote, like it was a definitive teaching moment, as denoted by, quote, but it goes both ways, end quote. Are you correcting, teaching, adding on, or sharing what you feel, question mark. And she has not responded yet. Obviously it's midday and she may be busy or whatever, but that was disrespectful of her. And she's a nice sister, so I'm not like saying she was coming at me or anything like that. She probably didn't even know. And that's a part of like some of the things we need to explain. Like when a man makes a statement, not just a man, when a chief makes a statement, when someone who's an authority figure makes a statement, you don't come in and say, yeah, that's true, but because this is not a dialogue. This is not an exchange. And that's why I said, are you correcting me? Are you teaching me? Are you adding on? Are you sharing your feelings? Because all three, but the latter would be inappropriate. You don't correct me. You're not going to teach me. And if you are, you're definitely not going to do it in a public forum. If you want to share your feelings, that's one thing. So a lot of times we don't really know how to interact with each other in a way where we can maintain harmony and peace. And then when it's brought out, when we say, you know what, that's not really appropriate to talk to me like that or to do that, then that's when everybody flares up. But it's really because it hasn't been taught. Like a woman doesn't know. Like even when we do some of these videos and then women coming in like, what are you talking about? Such and such, such. Like, you can't talk to me like that. No, that's the man adds on. I don't need you to add on. You see, if anything, take away. If I teach something, take away the rotten quality that's inside of you that I pinpointed when I was teaching. Take that away. Take that away from your children. Take that away from your sister friends. Negate those horrible qualities, but you're not going to jump in and start, yeah, I feel you, but, or I used to have women used to do all the time. She would say, that's true because, and I'd be like, no, it's true because I said it. That's it. Nothing else to be said. Because, and some may look at that and say, oh, well, they're just trying to be a part of the conversation. But it's not a conversation. I'm teaching. And anytime a man opens up his mouth in the company of juniors, children, or women, he's teaching. He's not experimenting. He's not throwing out ideas out there to see how you feel about them. He's teaching you. And there's a way to be taught. And sometimes that duality of what we both require on each side to function properly is amiss. So the same instance, if you come and if you write your woman a love letter, or you bring her flowers, or you just do something nice to her or for her, she may start crying. Now, would a man do that? Maybe not. But you're respecting the fact, well, she's a woman, she's emotional. So, and you might even want her to cry. You might, because inwardly, men kind of like that. Oh, I moved her. She was moved to tears. Well, if you say or do something that she doesn't like, she may be moved to anger and wrath. And you have to be able to embrace it the same way and say, you know what? The same way she cried when I brought her those flowers, now she's angry because, I don't know, she caught me looking at Michelle Obama's behind or something, or, she just caught me doing something stupid, or conversing with someone who did her dirty, and I showed disloyalty, and she may not break down to me why that's a big deal. She may just cry or start throwing things around or whatever it is, so there is a language, some call them the love languages, but there are languages to learn on each side and protocols to learn on each side so we can stop stepping all over each other. That's part of our issue. And I can tell you sometimes the respect of a man is stepped on because we share our ideas in public forum. And it seems that because we share them in public forum, they're open to public comment. And that's not always the case. Especially when you're speaking amongst women. And that's a tough area to really teach sometimes, because a lot of times in this society, men and women don't realize that a lot of their discourse should be happening separately, because we think differently and we respond differently. So men may be having a logical conversation. A woman hears one word and she'll just go off and won't even really give you a chance to get the full thought out, or won't even hear the full thought. But that's how women communicate a lot of times. And then a man may start trying to reason with her and to share logic, and she's still being emotional and going off, because he doesn't realize you can't share logic with an emotional person. You know, you can share emotions. You can say, well, I understand why you feel that way, and that's messed up, right? That should, you can sympathize in that sense, but there's different ways that we communicate when we're working through our issues and working through our problems, and that brotherhood and that sisterhood becomes profoundly more critical to have in place as a result. So those are just some things I was going to share.
I say
sharpening the sword. I love it.
For sure. For sure.
All right. So again, to all the men that are on the line, the number is 347-945-7680, and we're talking about men and respect. And earlier I said that on Tuesday's show we were trying to give the women a chance to call in and speak about love, because it said that women need love and men need respect. And we only actually got one caller to call in. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But we've got another caller with their hand up, 510. Greetings.
Greetings.
Peace.
Peace, King. Peace, King.
Peace. This is MGC. I don't know. I've been on the line in a long while. I've been in more over in archives due to my schedule.
Okay.
I wanted to share and just my appreciation for today's news. And that was very, very deep what Chief shared with us. So I'm going to definitely be in the archives listening to it over and over again.
All right. Well, what do you think? What do you think about men needing respect?
Well, it's definitely for our growth and for our movement. To be able to handle, everything that we need to handle, to make those proper decisions, and not be swayed. When that disrespect occurs, I would say it's like distracting.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I take it. It's a distraction for me, personally.
Okay. So what are your top 2 or 3 ways that you feel women can be disrespectful and not be aware of it?
I definitely say kind of what Chief was just talking about, like being combative. Like whether they mean to or not, as far as the intent doesn't matter, but just I would say being combative as far as when they challenge what it is that you're saying. No matter if they think they know more than you, or not, but just feeling like they need to chime in or redirect the conclusion of your statements.
Mhm. Okay. Is there
so
any
that's
other
one?
Uh-huh.
I would say there's a lot of them, but to me that's my supreme one. I would say the second one would be moreover just confusing their role in regards to doing things, that in essence is the man's job.
Mhm.
So moreover, just overstepping boundaries.
Okay. Okay. In what way? Like, can you give me an example?
Well, I would say moreover, like say, I'm having a hard time thinking of a good example. So my mind is kind of frayed right now. Kind of a lot of different thoughts
Okay.
going on right now. But I would say moreover, just if you have an agreement upon like duties, say for instance, working and making money. Let's put it like that. If you have an agreement that you're going to do something and take care of something one day, and she goes and she takes care of it without consulting with you, and she say she takes the car, and you were going to go make money, then that would be very disrespectful.
Okay. Okay. So she didn't have permission to take the car. She just took it.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I would say that's not a good example to what I was saying before, but that's moreover just a better form of showing disrespect. Another form of showing disrespect.
Okay.
Can I chime in?
Forgive me though for my my lack of clarity right now.
No problem.
I primarily didn't really want to chime in this matter. I just more want to just thank for give thanks for all the brothers that's on the line, as well as you, Kim, too, hosting the show. But I just want to give thanks for the clarity being shared.
Okay. Thank you. Put this way. Go ahead, Anwar. I'm gonna mute you just for a second, caller. Okay. If you well, actually, if you could just mute your line, that would be good, so that you can come back in whenever you like, if you have something to say.
Okay. So brother,
right,
I would like to say thank you for the call, and your insight brought on another conversation into what we're talking about, the combativeness. When you said that word combat, it resonated with me, because most men, when we leave the house, we are going to war. We are going to combat. We are going to go do the things that we need to do and fight the struggles that we have to fight to make sure that when we get home, the needs are satisfied. So we don't want to come home to another combat. We don't want to come to another battlefield. We don't need to have that. That shouldn't be in our house. That combativeness from our women is definitely throws us off and distracts us, like you said, and that distraction can only lead to more slower progress of what you're doing. And I always feel free to spread your words, because I'm telling you, brother, you said a couple things that resonate with probably a lot of our callers, dealing with combat and being in that situation with your spouse or better half, and having to have these arguments. Just like Chief said right now, there shouldn't be no arguments. When I come home and I say that this is what it is, I'm not gonna have to say it again. If I like for my kids, I play 3 strikes. So I tell you 3 strikes, three times. Oh, we got a problem. So same concept goes in the household. Is that we shouldn't even have to say it after the first time, because that's just going to give us combat and give us distraction. We could be out there doing other things instead of arguing with our women. So I appreciate the conversation, brother.
I say.
Okay. All right. We've got about 25 minutes left in the show. So if you have anything that you would like to add, or a question or something you'd like to share.
I'm gonna add on to that combat piece.
Okay.
It's not necessarily a problem if a woman approaches you, or in the initial phases of your interaction, she's combative. In fact, that's a good thing, because what she's doing is she's testing you. She's trying to see if you are what she perceives you to be. She's not sure yet, especially nowadays because it's very easy to impersonate males. Just like it's very easy to impersonate females. We don't necessarily have qualifiers. So when a female meets a male, she wants to test him for his manhood. So she may get smart with you at the mouth. She may say something. I mean, I've had women before just say ridiculously rude things, just to see what I'm going to do. If I'm going to flip out on her, if I'm going to get physical with her, or if I'm going to say something equally rude or say something equally slick, And a lot of times, fellas, they run out of things to say. And that's like one of the biggest the biggest mistakes you can make in even courting a woman is not knowing what to say, running out of words and running out of ideas to share with her. So the problem is when the combativeness doesn't stop after you've lost. And that's what most men, we all know it. We've all experienced it. We may meet them. Hey, come here. I want to talk to you. No, I can't. I'm going somewhere. I can't stop walking. So she wants to see if you're going to say something that's going to make her stop, or if you're going to walk along with her or walk behind her. She might even speed her pace up. I'm the type, I don't even do, like when I was younger and I would just stand in front of the woman. Like I would stop her, because I'm making it clear, like, I'm going to stop your world and you're going to join my world now. So wherever you were going, it's not important. This is the most important thing you could be doing right now. And you'll find that even in those moments, a woman will look at you like, okay, what? Like, you didn't stop me, made me miss my bus or whatever. What? And you got to have something for her,
I'm telling you.
So that's the same thing when you're dealing with just the general combativeness. It's because she's looking at you and she thinks you're a man. If she doesn't, she would be indifferent. So if she's doing that, there's something in your armor, there's a kink somewhere where your core intent is not matching your words or not matching your actions. Because remember, the idea of respect is to see the core intent. It's to go back to the origins. So you may be beating on your chest and trying to act all gorilla, but when it comes down to critical moments, you don't stand up to your own father or to your own mother or to your supervisor. You don't make the moves that you promised that you would make when you two first got together. So sometimes you want to look at that, or sometimes she's just a knucklehead. She doesn't know when to stop. You have some people like that too. They're rude. And if you don't check them properly in the beginning, they'll keep doing it. Or you might check them, and they just keep going. I think some of you have even witnessed that on this show. Sometimes women will call in, say something ridiculous. I'll fix it, and then they'll just keep saying more ridiculous things. It just doesn't stop. So that's when you're dealing with a moron. You're dealing with somebody whose skull is so thick that nothing's seeping in. They don't even realize they can't see the sun. They can't respect. They can't see the divine. And the best thing you could do is just get away from ones like that. But any real woman she's going to test you. You might, and men have experienced this. You can talk all that big, bad stuff. You probably experienced it when you were in high school. Remember when you was talking all that stuff about how you're not a virgin and all of this to girls in high school? And then she said, okay, well, let me feel your thing. And, you panicked. And in that moment of panic, your erection is gone. And now you're like, oh, she can't feel it like this. She's going to think this is what I am. But she's really testing. See, let's see how you respond under pressure. And she still, we're talking about when we're teenagers. She still may not give you any sex, but she wants to see, can you stand up to all this stuff you're talking about? So honestly, as we grow older, that doesn't really stop. A woman wants to see. So just like with me, a woman may say, wow, Chief is teaching and he seems smart and a lot of other men respect him and so forth and so on. Let's see how he really is. Let me throw him the drawers. Let's see how he responds. Let me send him a naked picture. Let's see if he starts acting goofy. All these different things that they're not necessarily problematic, but what they are really just that woman is testing to see if what she believes emotionally is really true, if it will express itself in reality. So I would just say, like, when a woman is being combative, like I told you in Tuesday's show, the more powerful she is, the more forceful you have to be. So when she's being combative, you got to almost show her without a shadow of a doubt that you're not gonna be able to do what you want to do. I had an incident once. I was at a pool party years ago. Actually, it was a video shoot for somebody, pool scene. So we're all out there at the pool scene, and this is when I was young and handsome, before I got old and grumpy. And this woman was with this girl. We were all young. This girl was with these other girls, and one of her friends was like, "Who's that pretty mother effer?" And she was referring to me, and I was like, "Yo, don't call me pretty. I don't like that." So then the girl started messing with me to the point that, like, she was physically poking at me. So she was like, "Yeah, you got muscles, but I don't know. You too pretty to whatever." So So I smiled, and I just kept smiling. I said, "Okay." I said, "That you cute," and I picked her up by one hand, by her like her forearm, but I was steady smiling, and I threw her in the water. And we weren't, like, no one was supposed to be in the water yet. Like, she had a perm and everything was messed up. So, and I'm smiling at her friends, like, saying, but the message I was sending is like, you're not gonna upset me, and physically, there's nothing you could do to me, and I'm doing all of this with a smile. Now, suffice it to say, this is a woman that I ended up dealing with afterward, a girl, I should say, because we weren't grown, we were all kids, but a girl that I ended up dealing with after that. But I knew why, because she saw, wow, we couldn't rattle this guy's cage no matter what. And obviously she liked me. She was giving me attention, but she wanted to see, if I was as tough and as strong as I really looked, if I was as cool as the impression that I gave off. And I'm not telling you just run around throwing women in pools or anything like that. Obviously I was a young boy. But the principle of the story still lies true. Sometimes men get just as emotional as the female is getting, and she's looking at you and saying, "Well, I can do that, and you can't argue me, so you're going to lose there." So you have to show her that you can cover her, that no matter what happens, I'm going to stay cool under pressure, and I'm going to be able to cover you, even when it's you that's wilding out. So I can protect us from the enemy within and from the enemy without. So sometimes that combativeness is calling for a show of force. And again, I want to reiterate, I'm not advocating that you put her head through a window or something crazy like that. But I'm just saying she's questioning your manhood. Now, if you've already proven and displayed it and she's still questioning it, then you got an issue. You might just have somebody who just likes to fight. Some women are like that, and that's and sometimes because you're not putting it down in the bed. So she still feels like she needs some type of physical interaction. That's her fix. She needs a fix. So she'll start a fight with you. Maybe she'll throw something at you. She'll try to, well, hit me, mother effer. Hit me. She'll start doing all of that stuff because physically she's not feeling dominated. So I would just say, as far as men, sometimes, again, you lose the respect that you could have had because you're not reading the signs. I'll give you another one because we're gonna make this an after hours type show. Even sexually, sometimes you do things sexually that cause her to look at you funny, but because you wrapped in the throes of pleasure, you don't even realize it. Like if you with a woman and the first time you two have sex, she straddles you. Well, she's riding. She's in control. You see, or the first time you have sex, you do it where she's on her knees and you're behind her. Now, of course, it's usually more painful that way and she's more vulnerable, but she's in front of you. She's in the lead. Little simple things like that. And I know some people will listen to me saying, "No, that doesn't make sense." But for those who have ears to hear it, really listen. Because think about the ritual think about the ritual that's happening during sex. So during sex, you should be dominating her. whether it's you, and I mean, even if it's the first time, whether you holding her wrist down, you're on top of her, and you're smothering her and you're letting her feel your strength and letting her see that I'm always going to be in a dominant position. The most I'll give you is to the side. We can both face the side. But even then, I'm doing most of the work. I'm not going to be in a submissive position. And I know for a lot of you probably study the Kama Sutra, and a lot of the positions in the Kama Sutra are designed to reverse the polarities. But that's a different culture too. Don't forget, and also in this day and time when we know that there's already an imbalance, then that means you have to make sure that you don't relinquish to any stale compromises of your manhood. And that may mean that you're going to have to give up doggy style for a while. That may mean, when you come home tired and you're like, well, yeah, just get on top. It means you're going to have to get up, splash some water on your face and jump back in the bed and dominate. Because ultimately, that's what she wants you to do. And again, I know the comments are coming. I know. But, man.
Can I chime in on that? Can I chime in?
Of course, absolutely.
That position that you're speaking of, they call it the missionary. I don't like really calling it the missionary. I will call it the dominant, male dominant position. They've done studies on this stuff, and that's a testosterone building position sexually. So a lot of people don't know that because, number one, you got to understand, if you're on top as a man, you're doing a constant push-up. You're 15, 20 minutes in doing a push-up, moving your hands, moving your legs. That action actually builds testosterone. So for brothers that are still trying to kind of 1-2 minute people, that's the best position to be in if you're ever having those problems. You know what I'm saying? So just wanted to chime in.
If you 1-2 minutes, man, you better learn to work that muscle, man. Like if you got a 1-2 minute issue,
straight up,
you need to start working your core muscles. If you're 1-2 minute, start doing push-ups and do push-ups on your knuckles. In particular, another good way to do your push-ups is a lot of times you might be on a bed where you don't really have that platform support. You get yourself 2 barbells. Dumbbells, and you just put them in and you do your push-ups with that, because that'll build not only your grip strength, but that'll also build your wrist strength. Because sometimes you get tired in your wrist, and then what do? You come down on your elbow. Now, but she knows, she feels you shaking. She goes, oh, and then you try to play it off. Oh, did you hear a noise? What's that noise? There ain't no noise. You're just tired. So start, you don't want to do things. Sometimes it goes to working out, man. Never let your physicality. I remember a guy told me that years ago. I was in the gym with him. And he was I guess he's the age I am now, but back then he was a much older guy than me. And his name was Fred, real funny guy. And he was like, yeah, man, that's good, man. I see you in the gym, you work out, that's good. He was like, yeah, man, because you don't work out, you can't get your thing off right. You're not going to be able to get your thing off. And, I was young. I'm like, man, I go 5-6 hours easy. I torture the vagina, because when you're young, all you know about is beating something up and you really messing up her organs and all kind of stuff, knocking her spine out of alignment, but you're young and dumb. But as I got older, I saw what he was saying. Yeah, times I wasn't working out, like man, I'm so out of breath, and things like that. So that's a part of it, and that's a part of the full experience that you want to be able to maintain as a man. And yeah, it does tie into how she sees you as God, how she sees you as Lord and Master, and again, I know the comments are coming, but you got to learn what a Lord is, learn what a Master is, learn what a God is, and then you'll see that it's not as deep as you might think, But yeah, absolutely, your positionings, the way you walk with your woman is important. The tone that you use, even things that, of course, the food that you eat, comes down to it. The activities that you engage in, the things that you do together. Some things you shouldn't do together. They may seem fun. I jog with my lady or we work out together. Yeah, but she's seeing you struggle. And, for someone like me, let's say I'm 280 pounds and I'm strong and I'm moving and I'm physical. But if I'm jogging next to a woman who's 130 pounds, All right. Okay. So
No,
she
it's
can probably
Tareen.
go. Yeah, Tareen. I think he's in a group home or something.
Tareen sounds like he's been in the middle of Fast and Furious all day, man. I've heard cars squealing and all the systems moving by and all that stuff. I don't know what he's doing, man. He in something.
He in a trap, you know. But you know, you got to maintain all of those different facets, and honestly, sometimes in relationships, men lose hope. They lose hope and confidence for themselves, and they fall off. They don't do those things that they're supposed to do, and you got to understand that as a woman is getting older, she's getting stronger. You know, she's getting more powerful. It's a little different, you know, for us. We get weaker, but you get a woman in her 30s or in her 40s, sexually, she's a beast. You know, and you have to go to the gym, and you may have to take supplements and do 10-day fasts and stuff like that just to kind of not only keep up sexually, because it's not just about that. I'm just using that as an example, but even keep up mentally, to keep your mind sharp. Because she's acquiring more wisdom. She's acquiring more power. So she's getting better at her role. And your role is to maintain that clear cognition from the divine. But over the years, your ego stacks in and stacks in and stacks in, and you lose respect because now it's harder for her to see the origin and see the source because you got layers of ego over you. So you have to constantly be doing things as a man to increase your flexibility, increase your suppleness, you know, make sure that you're eating foods that are highly charged and you're having highly charged experiences, you know, run through the woods, box, you know, join a boxing gym and, you know, things like that. A lot of guys like to play basketball and things like that, which is great, you know, because you're still staying in those competitive things. But it's very important because, you know, you will kind of get left. You know, as men sometimes mature, they you know, the estrogen kicks and they get more feminine, you know, and a woman picks up on that, man. So you got to maintain that. So sometimes, again, I'm just making the point that when we say that men need respect, sometimes you lose the respect for yourself, and then she struggles to still give you what she would love to give you. She would love to respect you. She would love to be able to say, my man is a God. My man is Lord. Like Sister Michelle called in one time and was talking about that. Like she said, yeah, I want to bring another woman into our family because my man is a God and I want to see more of him reproduced in the community. You know, now what woman wouldn't love to say that about their man or want to say that, man, if I could, I would have 100 of your children because you're just that magnificent. And when you create the right combination, you can feel that way about one another. You know, and that involves each other cultivating and maximizing their designation. That woman being the fullness of Oshun, that man being the fullness of Shango or Ogun, you know, and really maximizing that. I should say the woman being the fullness of Oshun and Yemoja and Oya, and the man being the fullness of Ogun, Shango, and Orunmila, you know, and maximizing that as much as you can. Yeah.
Chief, I would like to chime in on one more thing. I think you said it on this previous Sunday show about you're going to the gym, you're working out, and you want to prove you've been working out for a certain reason to strengthen yourself, and you want to prove yourself that you want to climb up that well. I don't know if if that's familiar. I think that was
I said something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's important and this is from the male's perspective. That's important to know that when I'm going to the gym, I'm focused on my strength, but I'm also being able to utilize that muscle into doing something. Yeah, for me, example is working with the wood, doing what I'm doing as in motion towards my next career opportunity. Is that whole process of learning what I need to do with the wood and how heavy it is, how light it is. Hold on a second, that's like that. That whole process of actually using the muscle that you're building, that you're working towards, actually using the product of what you're actually aiming to build is good, respect, building things for men to have. So, but I just wanted to chime in on that.
Yeah, for sure. And you doing that, you gain respect from other men.
Correct.
So if I need some cabinets done or something, I can always say, well, that brother does that. And respect, very similar to obey, because I think in that scripture that we were talking about, it says respect and obey, your husbands. But and obey, of course, obedience is a tough one because people assimilate that to like total submission, like I lose my voice if I obey. But in fact, the word obey actually just means to listen. Obedience is just listening. No, not bay. Ob is the first prefix, ob or ob, and that means to, like to do something, like obliterate. And the A comes from aidere. I might be pronouncing that wrong though, or edere, something like that. And that just means listen, to listen, like audio. So aidere or odere is where you get the word audio. So it means to listen. So when you're obeying and you're respecting, it's like you're giving a person the opportunity to listen and to really hear them out. And you find that with a lot of the discourse between the men and the women, it's those exact things, like the things that we require most from each other. It's our neglecting of that causes the greatest strife. You find a lot of men, their complaint is that women don't listen. It's the number one thing. They don't listen. Or the combativeness. And you hear a lot, even if you go into the street sometimes, you hear men and women argue. You hear men saying, if you would just listen, if you would just shut up and listen, you hear that all the time. So listening becomes the key piece. And a lot of times on the other end with that love thing, because love is, it's energy and motion. It's an emotion. A man is not really feeling a woman. She may be saying, like and I said before, when a woman is angry, don't listen to anything she's saying. She's just saying a bunch of gibberish. You have to feel what she's saying. That's why if she's arguing and you say, wait, repeat what you just said, she'll never be able to repeat it. You heard me. You heard what I said. It's because it's just words bumbling out of her mouth. But really, it's not about the words. It's about the feeling. And you got to compassionately lock in to what she's actually conveying to you. And a lot of times, guys don't have that ability, so they get underswept by these simps and these fake preachers and these fake teachers who pretend to have compassion. I feel you, sister. I know you're struggling, and I know he doesn't listen to you, and all that stuff like that.
Goldie. So, preacher
Prince.
Pulpit Prince. I just listened to that show. I just listened to that show just recently. It was that Pulpit.
Oh, okay.
Pulpit Prince. It's going. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So they lock into that compassion vibration, or it's usually false compassion, But if you just look at those two main things that we require, you're going to see that by fulfilling those basic rights, we would squash a lot of the issues that we have between one another. One would learn to listen, and the other would learn to feel. And ultimately, what it takes on both sides is patience. And patience comes from suffering. So that means you got to suffer through her rant, and you have to suffer through his logic. And you got to, because you don't feel like hearing it, and we don't feel like hearing it. But that's when we really care for one another. We kind of allow ourselves to be subjected to that, and that's the patience that we have for one another. And when you like this, sometimes as men, just let the woman talk. I know what she's saying doesn't make sense. Just go quiet. I tell you a trick I used to use years ago. I just put some sunglasses on, and I would, or like make the room dark. I said, come on, let's go talk in here. Light a little candle. I want to hear you out. And she can't see my eyes. I mean, I might fall asleep, and I'll just sit there and wake up. And I remember the first time I did that, and the woman I was with, she was like, now this was so good. Why can't we do this all the time? I'm like, hey, we're going to do it all the time. And the next time I just put on some, because now I see what worked, because ultimately we still got to the same end, because what it is that she was sharing, it wasn't about any solution. It wasn't about us making a change in direction. She just wanted to be felt. Mm-hmm. And whatever we did after that didn't really matter to her. If I would have said, okay, I feel you, I heard everything, but we still going to do it my way. At least she got to be felt. and I got to still maintain the directional course. So sometimes it just really takes patience to suffer through what you feel is insufferable.
See, logically, when men see women act like that, I don't know, I kind of sit back and just sit there and smile and laugh, because for the women to be so inside of their feelings and conversations, even when you have a whole bunch of them together and you might be in another room, you pass by, you see them just like all inside of a conversation, you hear what they're talking about. It's all emotion. You can just, as a man, I can just smile. I'm like, yeah, that's what it is over there.
Well, think about how they feel when we are doing shows and we're building and we're talking and we ain't got no money.
Yeah.
You don't think they're laughing at us? When we sitting here talking about politics, Obama is this and Trump is it, and they looking at it like, man, you can't even get off of your corny little job. You know, you got all these piece of crap cars, you put them all together, you couldn't get $5,000. You know, so she's saying, yeah, you over there pontificating and running off all this deep knowledge, but you ain't doing that. And just like we're listening to her saying, yeah, y'all over there cackling like a bunch of hens, but y'all hate each other. You know, so there's always a latent hypocrisy, and that's the beauty of us really caring for one another, is when we can laugh at each other. We can laugh at ourselves, and we can laugh at each other, and our egos are not so built up that, you know, we can say, yeah, you're right, and just, you know, joke it off, and it's no big deal, because at the beginning of the day, she is your reflection, and, you know, you are her reflection, and we need each other. We got to do this thing together, you know, so all of the combat in the war is nonsensical, because, you know, you're going to fight yourself into antiquity. You know, if you want to continue and to continue your presence, man, you're going to have to figure out how to learn each other, how to work with one another. And at some point, the guile and the bitterness has to stop. At some point, you got to come out of those cycles of resentment and bitterness, and, you know, you got to conjoin again and figure out, well, how can we make this work? Even if it means it has to look completely unorthodox. You know, let's keep our eye on what the imperative is. And the imperative is that we continue forward.
Okay, I got we've actually gone over time a little bit. There's one more caller. I think this is a Skype call. Greetings.
Greetings, Sister Kim. It's Brother Nam.
How are you?
Peace, Nam.
Greetings, Chief.
Peace.
Greetings.
Long time no hear from.
And brothers. I know. How are you, Chief?
I'm beautiful, brother. It's good to hear your voice, man. I haven't heard from you in a while. How's everything with you?
Yeah, likewise.
Good.
Ups and downs, but, you know.
That's the same thing you said last time.
Yep.
Last time we spoke, you said the same thing. So that's the horoscope. The horoscope is the up and down. That's all. Such is life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to give thanks, Chief, for you caught on to something where you said about you just have to kind of pick your battles in a way, you know, just listen, sit back and listen. Don't be too kind of argumentative, and you just have to have your space and kind of, you know, and listen to all those sort of like rants, but don't take it personally, because I think that's where I went wrong. Is I would always be like, this is the solution. This is, you know, I would have that zeal, and I kind of see in hindsight that was an immature sort of way. When you've got the answers and you're just keen, but you're not kind of getting, the sister is not exactly listening. So, you know, but it will sink in after some time, and then you might be criticized to be, you're too harsh. You speak too harshly, you know. You don't give it time, or you're impatient. So, yeah, I really give thanks for that bit of advice.
For sure.
Because we have to learn how to get on with each other, you know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's important, like you said, is just learning to, you know, you got to understand a woman is she's water, so the water's got to flow. And you can't always stand in front of her with your walls of logic. to stop the flow. Like, hold on, wait a minute, hold on, blah, because she gets extremely frustrated and she blows her top. Because what happens is when you do that, you're inserting fire. You're like throwing matches into the water, and eventually it's going to turn into steam. It's going to blow. So, and that's why it's also good for women to have an outlet, and whether it's poetry or dance or, but something where they can just completely let loose, or even if it's just sexually, don't inhibit yourself in the bedroom. If you need to go crazy and scream at the top of your lungs and just rent a hotel room or something if you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of your neighbors. But, I find even women who work out are they do well at that. They have a moment where they can release a lot of the stress and the frustration, because we shouldn't be releasing it on one another. And sometimes you find that even if you have a man who's not fulfilling in his mission, he feels like now his woman or his family, they have to always be the recipients of the last thing he just learned. So he comes home and, hey, check this out, and he's giving her 3-hour lectures in the dining room. And she might be falling asleep, or that's not for her. The lecture that she receives from you is through watching your example. But if you got so much to say, go start a program, go start a study group, and things like that. And then you'll really garner her respect. She'll see you as, someone who has an authoritative character in your community, as opposed to just trying to come home and talk her ear off about why she should stop eating chicken or just all the parasites in tuna and things like that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Brother Neil, for calling in. I know it's late where you are, so appreciate the support.
You're welcome.
Enjoy your day or evening.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Oh, double.
Go double.
All right.
It sounded like Brother Tareem in the back with the system bumping and the tire squealing a second ago. Fast and Furious, Tareem.
Well, actually, I think he's. I don't think he's on the line anymore. So yeah. Okay, so we've come to the end of the show. I want to thank you all for calling in. Thank you, Chief, for calling in and explaining it to us a little bit better. So the woman, because it was only one, had her say, and the men have expressed what it means. So maybe the women will listen in and learn a few things. So we'll be back on Tuesday. Thank you for calling in, and make sure you check out the classes that we have to offer on Sadulu House. If you want to join the men's group or the women's call, make sure you go to anewlifeglobal.org and get signed up. All right. Peace, everybody.
All right. Give thanks. Wadabo.